Welcome, Judy. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I like talking about nutrition for a lot of reasons. Um, None of us can stay really healthy in many ways, not just physically, but also mentally when we're not eating right. Food is one of the most important things that we need to take care of in life. Everyone needs to have shelter, but they also need to have food that's safe and healthy to eat. Um, I have had a lot of experience with nutrition. I've taken a number of training courses, and most recently the USDA training course on called Choose My Plate, which is all about healthy eating and has a large component on healthy eating on a budget. You don't have to spend a lot of money to eat healthy. So I'm going to go over some of the key points, but first I want to talk to you about the fact that if I seem a little tired, it's just because I just finished burning more than 2,000 calories. Actually what happened is I fell asleep while the brownies were in the oven and they burned up. So that was it, 2,000 calories burned. All right, I promise that's the last joke. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you need to do when you're trying to make sure that you're eating healthy and keep in pace with your budget is to plan ahead. Make sure that you do things like check your food supply. I try to keep my pantry organized-ish because I'm organized-ish. In categories that include things like the vegetables are on one shelf, canned vegetables, canned fruits are on another shelf, pasta is on another shelf, protein items are on still another shelf. And that way I can go and take a look before I go shopping. And if I have a recipe in mind, see if I already have the ingredients in there. If not, then I know what to put on my shopping list. I keep an ongoing shopping list. I don't think it's just my age. I think it's pretty much everyone has this going. I often get to the grocery store and I'll see something and I'll try and remember if I need it or not. If I've got that list with me, I know what I have on hand. I know what I don't have to get. I know what I need to buy. Not that I never impulse buy, and I'll talk about that in a while, but it depends on if it's a really good sale and if it's something that I know that we commonly use when we have our meals. Some things I keep on stock all the time. A number of years ago, my husband was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and was really in some serious health issues. Ultimately, he lost 87 pounds and has been off of medication for more than 15 years. So you can do it. You just need to do it for you. Not everybody's diet works for everybody. So you know what you like. You know what you want to eat, you know what you need to eat, keep track of that and stick with it. Also, check the ads for specials, the grocery ads. You can do that online, or if you get the newspaper, there are all kinds of ways. You can go into the store and pick up their weekly ads, but see what they have that's on special, that is on your list so that you can refine your list of that, or that you know that it's something you want to stock up on. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on and show you what I do with the ads. Even if you don't subscribe to the newspaper, we get a lot of ads in the mail anyway. Every Tuesday, for example, we get a handful of grocery ads. So keep track of that. You can also go online. You can Google Walmart weekly ad, Save Mart weekly ad, Safeway weekly ad, and an electronic copy of that ad will come up and give you an idea of what they have on sale or what they have in stock at the time. So step 2 in healthy eating on a budget is to make sure that you shop with that list. Keep your ongoing list, and this is what mine looks like. After I've looked at the ads, then I don't know how well you can see this because the lighting's not real good in the room I'm in right now. But after you look at the ads and have an idea of what recipes you want to make, then you can start making your list. We drink almond milk. We're almost out, so I put almond milk on my list. And I keep that going then as I go to the grocery store. It's an ongoing list of things that I've run out of, or things that I have clipped a recipe for, or there's a recipe, or one of my kids that I might be cooking for, or my husband has a request for a special meal, then I know what ingredients I have to get. So talking about shopping though, and shopping on a budget, there are some real good ways to be able to save money in the grocery store. For one thing, look for the items that are on sale, but also look for the store brands or the generic brands. I'll tell you a little secret. For example, Walmart, which a lot of us shop at, their Walmart brand yogurt, which is called Great Value Yogurt, is actually made by Dannon. So you can see Dannon yogurt side by side with Walmart yogurt, and the Walmart yogurt is cheaper than Dannon, and they're made by the same people. Same way with peanut butter. Walmart peanut butter is actually made by Peter Pan. So Peter Pan peanut butter next to the Walmart brand peanut butter, the Walmart brand is much cheaper. So don't be afraid to try those store brands. I do that a lot. You can do a little research and see who actually makes it, but I've really never been disappointed. I check the nutrition label on the back of the can, for example, on the box, and find out that item for item, the nutrition value, the contents are exactly the same as what might be the more expensive store brand. I also buy in bulk, or I buy large quantities. We eat as a protein a lot of beans. So if I find packaged dried beans are on sale, I'll buy a couple of packages. If you keep one package in an airtight container, you don't have to, the one you're not going to use right away, you don't have to worry about it going stale or getting critters in there that you don't want to necessarily have. Just even zip it up in a Ziploc bag. Also look for bulk items that are on sale in frozen foods. Frozen fruits and vegetables have the exact same nutrition value as fresh fruits and vegetables. So don't be afraid to buy frozen. Good example, I always have peas, frozen peas in the freezer, because peas are also a real healthy source of protein. So if you're trying to make sure that you add protein to your diet and keep plenty of protein in, peas are a really good go-to vegetable. You can put thawed peas on a salad, you can put peas in soups and in stews, or just eat peas cooked. They're really healthy. So when peas are on sale, I make sure I buy an extra bag of that. Don't be afraid to buy frozen fruits also. They're very healthy. They have the same health contents as fresh. If you can find the fresh and it's a good price, buy those instead when they're in season. Otherwise, buy the frozen or even freeze fruits that you buy. For instance, bananas. When I see bananas on sale, I buy extras for a couple reasons. Ultimately, if they're getting really mushy, they're going to be in a smoothie, or maybe they'll be banana bread. But if they're not, if I buy, and I know I have more than I need, I'll take a ripe banana, peel it, slice it into chunks and freeze it. That way I have bananas ready if I'm going to cook with bananas, or if I'm going to put bananas in a smoothie. Bananas are a real good, healthy fruit to have on hand. Look also for bulk items. In some of the grocery stores, they have a bulk area where you can buy oatmeal in bulk. You can buy nuts in bulk. You can buy grains in bulk. Those are often a real good buy. Just put them in a plastic bag, take them home, keep them sealed up in a plastic bag so you don't have to worry about getting critters in there. And I say that because we recently were inundated with some moss that came in with a bag of rice that somebody gave me. And I didn't realize that these little pantry moths like rice so much, and opened the cupboard one day and enough flew out at me to make me think I was in the middle of a horror movie. So I repackaged a lot of the stuff that I bring home from the store. I want to talk to you a little bit more about canned goods. Also, don't be afraid to stock up on canned goods. I like to stock up on black beans because they're very high in protein. They're also very high in fiber. And if I'm trying to make the soup last a little longer, stretch the soup a little bit, I'll put black beans, can of black beans in it. Black beans go really well with a lot of foods. They're a good side dish. And the reason I say, a lot of people say, well, canned goods have a lot of things in them to preserve them that aren't necessarily good for you. Rinse them. Rinse the canned vegetables, rinse the canned beans. Don't cook them in the contents that they're canned in, because there are a lot of preservatives and chemicals that you might not want to add to your body. So if you rinse them off, if you rinse off that stuff, cook them in plain water or microwave them, or throw those beans into your soup. I made homemade chili, and often I didn't have enough dried beans to work for the chili. I'll add some canned beans, or I need to stretch that soup or whatever a little bit, I add some canned beans to that. Same with vegetables, rinse those vegetables off. They're very healthy. When you're buying canned fruits, look for fruits that are packed in fruit juice or no sugar added. The heavy corn syrup that many fruit juices are packed in, or the heavy sugar that they're preserved with, is really unhealthy. At the very least, if you can only, for instance, find sliced peaches canned in syrup, again, rinse those off, don't use that syrup. A good thing to do if you're cooking with kids, though, is to even take that syrup, for instance, if you get fruits that are canned in fruit juice, and freeze the juice in ice cube trays. And then put those, once they're frozen, put those ice cubes in a glass of water when the kids need something a little sweet. I like to do that if I have lemons in bulk, squeeze some lemons into an ice cube tray, and then use those lemons to flavor iced tea or lots of different drinks. Different sodas are good with lemon, and it adds a little bit of a healthy content to that. Talking about canned goods too, and this is a question I get a lot when I'm teaching nutrition classes. Canned goods technically in the United States never expire. So there's, however, something to be said about the fact that they never expire. If they're acidic foods, in other words, if they're canned tomatoes, tomato is an acidic food, then they tend not to have a very long shelf life. What happens is the acid from that food erodes the can, and it'll start to leak. Or if it even gets just a little pinpoint of air in there, bacteria will build up. That can happen pretty fast with acidic foods. Other canned goods can last for years and years and years. Now, it may not taste quite as good or look as good as it did originally. The canned peas might be a little less than the best flavor, but it won't hurt you. I'm not telling you to save it up, but in an emergency, if you're building your pantry, it won't make you ill. Look, however, for any cans that might be leaking or look rusty. Look for any cans that are bloated. If the top's bloated, if you can push the top up and down, then that means that the vacuum seal has been breached and air is in there. If air gets in there, botulism will grow. So it can make you very, very ill. So never use anything out of a can that looks like the outside's deteriorated in any way, is rusty, is leaking, or the top is bloated. So to make sure that I'm rotating out, so maybe I've gone to Costco for some reason. I still think I have 8 or 9 kids living at home. So I go to Costco and I buy a whole case of tomato sauce. I date it. I date the month and the year that I bought it, so that I make sure that I am rotating that toward the front and using those up first. I don't keep any canned goods that are more than 3 years old, just because I feel safer that way. Also, where my pantry is, my laundry is in the laundry room, and it gets a little bit hot in there, and I worry that heat is not good necessarily for canned goods. But if it's 3 years old, I'll still use it, knowing confident that I can be confident that it's not going to hurt me. Step 3, cook once, serve twice. If you're going to make spaghetti, make a big bunch of spaghetti, put half of it in your Tupperware, serve it again later that week, or you can freeze spaghetti. You can freeze spaghetti, take it out of the freezer, let it thaw. It might be a little dry, so you might want to add a little more pasta sauce to it. But spaghetti is often tastes better the second day than it does the first day. I make all of our own soups for the most part. We make a lot of chicken noodle soup, and I make a lot of other soups that have a chicken base or vegetable base, and I make my own chili. My family prefers it, and that way I can control what goes in it, and I can sneak some healthy stuff in there that doesn't cost a lot of money. Any soup or dish that I make that's based on tomato sauce, like spaghetti. My husband's Italian, so I make a lot of Italian spaghetti, veal parmesan, lasagna, and then we revert back to chili. I sneak zucchini in there so that there's extra vegetables. My kids grew up eating zucchini without knowing they were eating cooked zucchini for many, many years. Zucchini is a really healthy vegetable. Zucchini is not really expensive. It's often on sale. I have a lot of neighbors that grow zucchini that are more than happy to give it to me. Zucchini tends to take on the flavor of whatever you cook it with, like tofu. Tofu is a really, really good high protein food, and it's inexpensive. So when I'm making chili, I will make it sometimes with ground beef, sometimes with ground turkey, but I'll also put some small cut up tofu in there. It gives it a nice texture, and it also adds to the protein content. So I want you to eat healthy, and I want you to eat inexpensive. So I'm going to talk to you about some things that are some foods you can get that are very healthy and that also tend to be inexpensive. When you're planning your meal, I want you to picture your plate divided up this way. Half of the plate should be fruits and vegetables. 1/4 of the plate should be protein, and 1/4 of the plate should be grains. And then a serving of dairy 3 times a day. So I'll talk more about what that looks like. Fruits and vegetables are loaded with healthy vitamins. And again, they can be canned, they can be frozen, they can be fresh. Remember, in fact, that tomato is actually a fruit, but we eat it like a vegetable. I told my daughter, she said, how do you remember that? And I said, well, it's really easy to remember. Tomato's a fruit, which means you're smart, but it also means you're wise if you don't put it in the fruit salad. Not so good. So tomato's a good fruit vegetable. So if half your plate is based with a tomato sauce, and like I said, with zucchini, for example, you've got a fruit and vegetable there. Or you can put together a small salad. I was looking in the paper recently and found out that cucumbers are on sale right now. Cucumbers are a great vegetable. Load up your salad with cucumbers, or just slice some cucumbers on and put them on the plate for the vegetable. Cucumbers also have some nutrients that are very good, what we call antioxidants, which help you fight inflammation. Anything that fights inflammation also fights things like cancer, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, high cholesterol. So get in the habit of reading the labels on the foods, or learning a little bit about nutrition to find out which of the fruits and vegetables especially are high in antioxidants. Keep that in mind, because it's great for, especially as we get older, things like anti-inflammatory or issues that have to do with Alzheimer's or memory loss. Sometimes memory loss and Alzheimer's are predicated or actually made worse by inflammation. That's the same stuff that makes you have aches and pains when you have arthritis, for example. So anti-inflammatories are really good for your system and for your health in general. Some good inexpensive protein, and that's going to be 1/4 of your plate, is chicken. Chicken is really inexpensive. Also, almost any kind of fish, but especially tuna. Very lean beef and eggs. Add to that also tofu. So if you're vegetarian, or if you're trying to add a little bit more protein to your diet and you don't want to add a lot of extra calories, or you want to make sure that you're adding a lot of health, extra protein, tofu is a great way to do that. And also beans. Not green beans, that's a vegetable. I'm talking about black beans, I'm talking about lentils, I'm talking about kidney beans, red beans, chili beans. All of those beans are very high in protein. Then another 1/4 of your plate should be grains. Now that includes things like whole grain bread. Whole grain bread. I don't want you to buy just wheat bread. Often wheat bread just means that they process the flour and turn to brown by adding chemicals to it. You need whole grain. So look for whole wheat bread. It might cost a little bit more, but a slice of whole grain bread is very healthy. And that works for 1/4 of your plate for grains. Pasta also, look for whole grain pastas. much healthier than the bleached out plain white pasta. I'm talking about spaghetti noodles. Egg noodles are good because the egg adds extra protein. If you like tortillas, go for corn tortillas versus wheat tortillas. Corn is a healthier grain. Stay away from wheat unless it's whole grain. Also oats, so oat bread, they're also very healthy. So once you've filled up your plate, those 4 sections, half the plate is fruits and vegetables, 1/4 is protein, 1/4 is grain. Then you want a serving of dairy. Depending on your tolerance and your age and your diet, anywhere from half a cup to a full cup of dairy is considered a serving. And you need to have 3 servings a day. So besides milk, and not everybody can tolerate milk, you can add almond milk, which is a good healthy source if you can't drink milk. It doesn't have quite as much calcium as milk, but it's a healthy alternative. Almonds are a real good alternative, something to add extra also to boost your protein. And almonds, all nuts and seeds are considered grains also. Soy milk is also a healthy alternative. Yogurt's a dairy. And again, look for the generic brand. I only buy yogurt that is not sugar added. And I buy yogurt that doesn't have fruit added because sometimes that sneaks extra sugar and calories in there. I'll buy plain yogurt and then flavor it with things like cinnamon, some nutmeg, some allspice, and then mix it with fresh fruits. That's a good, healthy protein right there. That's a good, healthy dairy right there. And also you get some of your fruits in there. Cottage cheese is a good dairy product, but try and stick with 2%. You don't need to add a lot of fat to your diet. Your body isn't going to digest it well. 2% cottage cheese is a good, healthy alternative for your dairy. I do want to talk to you a little bit more about some proteins that people overlook. Peanut butter, peanuts, nut butters are really good protein alternatives. If you put some, for instance, almond butter on some celery stalks, you've got your vegetable, you've got your protein. That's a good, healthy snack. That's a good, healthy side dish. My kids always loved something that we called ants on a log, where I would spread peanut butter. I'm allergic to peanuts, so I'm going to have to be honest with you and say I went to almond butter. My kids grew up eating almond butter instead of peanuts. So I'll put some almond butter on that celery stick, and then you dot it with raisins. Your kids, your grandkids will love it. That's called ants on a log. So the raisins are a fruit. Dried fruits are healthy. The raisins are a fruit. You've got the protein in the almond or peanut butter, and then you've got your vegetable, which is in the celery. So that's the way that you can sneak a lot of good, healthy foods into one place. Also for your grains, for breakfast, for example, a good grain is to have is oatmeal. Oatmeal or oat cereals are better than the wheat cereals. They're healthier. So look for whole grain oats if you can. Good, healthy oatmeal. Not the prepackaged seasoned oatmeal or spiced oatmeal, because often it has a lot of sugar in it. You can substitute other things in the oatmeal that make it sweeter. Cinnamon makes everything taste sweeter. So I want to go into talking then also about sugar substitutes. I'm giving you a lot of information really fast, I know. All of this information you can find if you Google choosemyplate.gov. Gives you lots of information about food recipes, what's healthy, what you should be eating, what is healthy to eat, and then tons of recipes for the foods that they suggest you eat that's healthier. But I've been getting a lot of questions lately when I teach nutrition classes or do a cooking demonstration on artificial sweeteners. So there's an awful lot of information out there. There was a study done in Italy that says that some forms of artificial sweeteners have been shown to cause cancer and mental deterioration and inflammation in rats. Well, we do a lot of testing on rats, and it's for a good reason. For some reason, a lot of foods or supplements that give rats cancer give us cancer also. There's something about the way that their digestive system works is very much in alignment with ours. They get a lot of the same diseases that we have. So they did some testing, and one of the artificial sweeteners that they tested did cause a lot of problems in these rats that they tested them on. There is a significant percentage of people that seem to have a problem with these. So I will tell you what I recommend, but please, anything that I recommend to you, talk to your doctor about. If you're on a special diet for cholesterol, if you're on a special diet for diabetes, if you're on a special diet because you take a medication, that means that there's some foods you have to stay away from. For instance, many cholesterol medicines cannot be taken with grapefruit or grapefruit juice. Yeah, it's grapefruit and grapefruit juice has an enzyme that causes the medication to not work well. So check with your doctor, and also check with your doctor about artificial sweeteners. But I'm going to give you two alternatives that we use in my home. Stevia. Stevia is a natural sweetener. It actually comes from a leaf that is very, very sweet, almost 1/2 to 1/3 to 1/2 times sweeter than sugar. So you don't need to use a lot of it. And it's readily available almost everywhere. So stevia is a good sweetener. If you have to sweeten your tea, if you have to sweeten your coffee, if you have to sweeten your oatmeal, or whatever you have to sweeten, and I actually will put it in yogurt, in the plain yogurt, then stevia is a good alternative. And then for another natural one, if you don't have a problem with diabetes, then honey is a good alternative to sugar and to artificial sweeteners also, especially local grown raw honey. And that covers a lot of bases. Local grown raw honey has been proven to help some people with environmental allergies. If you have an allergy to, for example, if you have an allergy to ragweed or something that grows in your neighborhood, then local honey has been proven to help you overcome that. Also, it's sweeter than sugar, so you use a little bit less of it, and it doesn't tend to cause, it isn't very high on what they call the glycemic scale. In other words, it doesn't tend to cause your blood sugar to go up and down too quickly. I wanted to show you what I do when I look through the ads. For instance, I was looking at the ads that came in the mail today, and I found out that Smart and Final has 2 cantaloupes for $2.99. That's $1.50 a piece. Also, 2 dozen eggs, buy one, get one free. That works out to $1.50 per dozen eggs, because eggs there are $2.99. So look for those kind of ads. I put eggs on my list, and I put that where I want to go to buy the eggs is Smart and Final. I also put bell peppers and cucumbers on my list because those are on sale in a lot of the markets right now, and those are good to have on hand. Almonds are one of the healthiest low-fat, high in omega-3 fatty acids, not that you can eat. Cashews are really dense in calories. So if you're not worried about the calories, then eat away. Nuts are a great snack. So I tell you, the first thing I want everybody, if you have this in your cupboard, I want you to throw it out right now. Coconut oil.
Right.
The worst oil on every level. Don't get suckered into thinking that coconut oil is a good, healthy thing. It's not. It is not healthy at all. Look for unsaturated fats and oils. Canola is a good oil. Corn is not a good oil. So one of the best oils you can use is olive oil. It's pricey. And you have to be careful because it gets rancid fast if you get the Evo, which is extra virgin olive oil. You can put that on bread. I mean, my Italian husband will dip his, I make my own bread some of the time, not as much as I used to because we eat it if I make it. But just dip some good French bread or good crusty bread in olive oil. There's flavored olive oils. When I make bread and I need to put oil I use olive oil. Almost anything that I need to add oil to, I use olive oil. So you can have unflavored, and then I have a bunch of flavored olive oils. But you have to watch out. Don't buy a great big huge amount, because if it's very pure, it will go rancid quickly. So just buy what you need to use. One of my pet peeves, things I want to tell you not to do, is microwave popcorn. Most microwave popcorns have saturated oil, and that's not good. Buy popcorn, cook it in your air popcorn popper. There are air popcorn poppers that go in the microwave, but those ready to put in the microwave bags of popcorn. Popcorn's a good healthy snack, but not the microwave ones. Actually, almost all fruits and vegetables. Salmon is a good one, although salmon tends to be not only pricey, but it's high in omega-3 fatty acids, but you don't need a lot of it. So I think it's good that salmon's so expensive, because we tend not to eat a lot of it. Tuna is a really good antioxidant food. It's high in omega-3 fatty acids. So start reading labels, look for labels, make yourself a little bit of knowledge. Go online and just type in nutritional value of, and any food you can think of. You might get some ads pop up, but also you'll get a lot of information. Look for the anti-inflammatory or antioxidant. That's the things that keep you healthy. If you look at the label of the contents, the ingredients, they have to start with what is the most thing or ingredient in there. If it says sugar, it's got more sugar than anything else in it. If it says water, it's got more water than anything else in it. So pay attention. If salt's the third or fourth ingredient, don't eat that. That's a lot of salt.